I'm Richard Clarke. In this video, I offer comments on Ramana Maharshi's 40 Verses on Reality, drawn from years of practice. Together, we explore the depths of Ramana's teachings on self-realization and liberation. This week's reading from 40 Verses on Reality is verse 37. You are the self. These are Ramana's words. The contention, dualism during practice, non-dualism on attainment, is also false. While one is anxiously searching, as well as when one has found oneself, who else is one but the 10th man? Ramana is saying here that you are what you're searching for. This is Ramana's story of the 10th man. Ramana's words, the eternal is not a knowledge to be acquired, so that acquiring it one may attain happiness. It is one's ignorant outlook that one should give up. The self you seek to know is truly yourself. Your supposed ignorance causes you needless grief, like that of the 10 foolish men who grieved at the loss of the 10th man, who was never lost. Here is the 10th man story. Excuse me while I stop this. Here's the 10th man's story. The 10 foolish men forded a stream, and on reaching the other shore wanted to make sure that all of them had in fact safely crossed the stream. One of the 10 began to count, but while counting the others, left himself out. I see only 9. Sure enough, we have lost one. Who can it be? He said. Did you count correctly? Asked another, and did the counting himself, but he too counted only 9. One after the other, each of the 10 counting only 9, missing himself. We are only 9. They all agreed. But who is the missing one, they asked themselves. Every effort they made to discover the missing individual failed. Whoever he is that is drowned, said the most sentimental of the 10 fools, we have lost him. So saying, he burst into tears, and the others followed suit. Seeing them weeping on the river bank, a sympathetic wayfarer inquired about the cause. They related what had happened, and said that even after counting themselves several times, they could find no more than 9. On hearing the story, but seeing all the 10 before him, the wayfarer guessed what had happened. In order to make them know for themselves they were really 10, that all of them had survived the crossing, he told them, let each of you count for himself, but one after the other, serially, 1, 2, 3, and so on, while I shall give you each a blow, so that all of you may be sure of having been included in the count, and included only once. The 10th man will then be found. Hearing this, they rejoiced at the prospect of finding their lost comrade, and accepted the method suggested by the wayfarer. While the kind wayfarer gave a blow to each of the 10 in turn, he that got the blow counted himself aloud. 10, said the last man as he got the last blow for his turn. Bewildered, they looked at one another. We are 10, they said with one voice, and thanked the wayfarer for having removed their grief. Ramana Maharshi concludes the story with these words: Such is the case with you. Truly, there is no cause for you to be miserable and unhappy. You yourself impose limitations on your true nature of infinite being, and then weep that you are but a finite creature. Then you take up this or that spiritual practice to transcend the non-existent limitations. Hence, I say, know that you are really the infinite pure being, the self. You are always that self, and nothing but that self. Therefore, you can never really be ignorant of the self. Your ignorance is merely an imaginary ignorance, like the ignorance of the 10 fools about the lost 10 man. You can be like the 10th man, not noticing your own existence. Or you can take a path of self-investigation and find him once and for all. The path must be of the same nature as the destination. Otherwise, how can it take you where you want to go? This is why Ramana's self-inquiry is so powerful. Inquiry uses consciousness to look at consciousness, turning the light of consciousness onto itself. With truth as the path does not create more ignorance like expedient teachings that themselves will later need to be overcome. With self-inquiry, the first step is the same as the last step, with consciousness looking into consciousness. Now some notes on practice to experience this within yourself. Use consciousness to look at consciousness. You might seem to think that consciousness is hard to perceive, since all you can perceive are objects, not the consciousness that knows all you perceive. Turn around the light, notice consciousness always knowing consciousness. It's funny though, you can't really know it like you know other objective things. It's not objective. You can't know it really, you can only be it. So inquire and know yourself. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this Ramana Maharshi video, subscribe, like, and send me a comment.